We'll get to why so much hiring is going on, but sort of should I get involved? Well, yes, based on the hiring happening, will there be a job for you at the end of the road? Based on this data and sort of what we're looking at, there will be. Aside from our data, Boeing does forecasts quite often. Using their 2016 forecast, they predict that we're going to go from needing just over 23,000 to almost 47,000 aircraft worldwide. So obviously for every airplane, you need at least 2 pilots to fly that airplane, between 2016 and 2036 that is, and broken down from into different areas of the world. That translates into 637,000 new pilots. That's a lot of new pilots, and that's new. That's not current plus what we would need. That's net new pilots. So to answer the question, will there be a job for you a few years down the road? All signs are pointing to yes at this point. Obviously, that's subject to change as we kind of see historically in the industry. But most likely there will be, at least in the medium term. If you talk to the airlines that are here today, or even the flight school, you talk to them about pilot hiring and how it affects them, they'll be able to say quite a few words on the pilot hiring market and how hot it is right now, how much movement there is. So there is a lot of good news out there. The reason why all the hiring is going on is we know that pilots will be retiring when they hit age 65. That's an FAA rule. When you hit 65 years of age, as an airline pilot for an airline like American or Delta or United or Southwest or any of those, you will have to retire. So the last day you can fly is the eve of your 65th birthday. So we can predict when people will retire. We'll get to that in a second, a little more detail.
Thank you everybody for being here today. My name is Talia. I am a pilot recruiter for Piedmont Airlines, full-time pilot recruiter. Tom did a really great job of convincing you all to be pilots, right? Yeah. Now, how do we do that? So this is about civilian flying. For civilian flying, you have 141 and 61. Part 141 is basically just, these are federal aviation regulations, and they're just numbered. So 141 is their regulation on flight training that involves some sort of structure. Like, it's very, very structured. So for example, US Aviation Academy would be a 141 school. Embry-Riddle is a 141 school. ATP is a 141 school. American Flyers is a 141 school. It involves a lot more structure. Usually it involves some sort of higher education, like an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree, which is how I got my certificates. So 141 is also going to be a little bit more expensive just because of the way it's structured. There are a lot more stage checks and things like that before you get to a check ride. They're going to monitor your progress along the way to make sure that you're ready and definitely going to pass your check ride. We do recommend this for people that are serious about becoming airline pilots because you don't want to get to a check ride and then fail the check ride because you weren't ready. You want someone to be monitoring your progress the entire way through so that when you get to that check ride, you're confident and you know that you're ready and you're going to pass. Part 61 is can be a little bit less expensive than Part 141. It also can be quicker since it's not as structured. You can do Part 61 training with basically any flight instructor. So, for example, I'm a flight instructor. If you walked up to me off the street and said, hey, can you do my flight training? I want to become a pilot. I could say, absolutely. And I could just do your training one-on-one, get you all the way through your commercial pilot certificate, and that's all that you would have to do. You wouldn't have to go to a school. You wouldn't have to get a degree. You wouldn't have to do any of that stuff. So those are the main differences between Part 141 and Part 61. And during the roundtable, you can ask for more clarification on that. And when you're looking at flight schools and deciding where to go, I would definitely ask, okay, is this a Part 141 school, 61 school? What are the differences? And how do I decide? Really, everybody has their own journey in aviation, so it's going to be what's best for you.
Okay, my name's Keith. I'm a captain at Envoy. I've been at Envoy just over 10 years as of September. I'm on the 145. That's not a 145. What I'm going to do is talk a little about who we are, and then I'm going to go into what probably a lot of mom and dads want to know about, and a lot of students probably want to know about, is our cadet program. Let's talk about our cadet program. I'm sure that's why a lot of you are here. We came up with a program when we were at AMR called the Pilot Pipeline Program. What the idea from the program was to take a student who wanted to become an airline pilot and kind of guide them all the way through to the regional level. At that point, we didn't have the flow through, so it was just to get them to the regional level. Okay, and they came up with this program called the Pilot Pipeline Program. It turned into the cadet program, and what it does is it takes a student and it gets them all the way to Envoy, and then if they want to flow, we get them all the way to American, kind of like a one-stop shop. Okay, we partner with a multitude of universities and flight schools across the country. We have new agreements signing fairly soon here with, I think, 3 more schools that are coming up, and we'll talk about that.